I'm Francesca Mayer, and I'm currently a student at Liverpool Hope University. I used to have a really big fear of public speaking, and it got so bad that I felt like I couldn't breathe when I got up in front of other people. I overcame this by simply exposing myself to those situations that I found really scary. I want to make people aware that it's not just about feeling shy. Some people have a really big fear of public speaking and just simply can't get on stage and perform. As well as this, there's plenty of other reasons why I want to make this documentary. I think I just want to know why it happens. Like, why is it that some people have a big fear of public speaking and then other people just feel fine and they don't get nervous when they stand up in front of others and speak? So I just want to know the causes really, like why does it happen? I also want to know like what professional treatments are out there for people, because I had to deal with it very much on my own and that was really difficult. I mean, I did get over it eventually by just exposing myself to those situations, but I know there's people that can't do that and I just really want to help them. I'm actually at my university today. I'm going to go and ask a few students how they feel about public speaking, because I think it's somewhere where you have to do a lot of presentations, so it's actually quite good to go and see how people feel about it. How do you feel about public speaking? Do you get quite nervous?
Depends on the situation, I suppose.
Yeah, like if it's like a big group of people in a lecture or something.
The more people there, the more nervous you'd be, I guess, yeah.
How do you feel about public speaking? Do you get quite nervous?
Yeah, I would actually get quite nervous. Like, horrible. Like, I just don't like it at all. Do anything to avoid it.
I do be a bit nervous, like,
I get really nervous. So how do you feel about public speaking? Do you get quite
nervous? Yeah,
you do.
Definitely, yeah.
How do you feel when you get up in front of people?
Just a bit embarrassed and always like shake and stuff.
Yeah.
Just sort of go red, you think?
Yeah, I go bright red.
Red, like blushing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I still said as well.
Yeah, how do you feel
I don't like it because I get very nervous.
You get very nervous?
Yeah. I don't like speaking.
I don't like it either. It's quite scary.
From speaking to the students here at Liverpool Hope, it seems like the majority of people don't like public speaking. So it's quite a widespread fear. It's been really interesting as well, just to see what people think, just to get people's views on the subject. I've just been doing a bit of research on the internet about people fearing public speaking, and I found out that the actual term for it is glossophobia, and it's also a specific form of social phobia. So you've got social phobia, which is like a general thing, like people don't like talking on the phone or being in groups of people and talking, like that makes them feel quite nervous. And if you've got like a specific social phobia, it's like a specific situation, like speaking in front of people, like doing presentations and things like that. So yeah, it's really interesting. There's like a lot of stuff on the internet to have a look at, but I think some of these things do tend to contradict themselves. So I think I want to go and speak to some professionals about it, like some counsellors or a clinical psychologist or something like that. So I spent the next few days trying to secure some interviews, and eventually I met with 3 professionals. I asked them what they thought caused people to have a fear of public speaking.
Quite often it's something, an early experience that we might have, where we've been kind of like in a social kind of environment and then we've become anxious for one reason or another. So it could be something that maybe as a child you might have been in school and then you kind of put on the spot and felt somewhat humiliated in front of the whole classroom.
Yeah.
So you might possibly then generalise that to other kind of experiences, similar experiences, and become anxious in them and possibly just try to avoid those kind of situations.
Yeah. It could be that they've had one bad example.
Yeah, that was like me. I just had an experience at high school, and I just couldn't speak all of a sudden in a drama exam. And I think that one experience just set it off for me, and that really upset me.
Yeah, and I think probably then the longer you leave it to go into that situation again, and the best way to overcoming fear is to actually do it really.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah. So so you can have had a bad example of public speaking where it went really wrong, where you found it really terrifying, and then in your mind then that's built that up as to a really major thing.
Yeah.
Many of my clients, they're not quite sure where it came from, because they'll come and say, I'm confident, I've got a good job, I'm happy, I just don't know where to
just
stand
comes out
from.
of nowhere,
yeah.
Really?
So it can be for some people, it's in school, they've had to read out a book or spell or something like that, and then it triggers it.
Really?
But it can just come out of nowhere, and the people don't really know what's triggered it for them.
I then asked them what treatments are available.
I mean, currently kind of the most effective treatments is cognitive behavioural therapy. So really that's about kind of like the first thing that kind of like a clinician would do, maybe carry out an assessment so they could maybe kind of carry out what we call a formulation
Yeah.
and break down the individual's experience into kind of manageable pieces so we can understand what's happening.
First one will be relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
So encouraging the person to actually physically relax themselves, to self-soothe themselves in advance of public speaking. An NLP technique called anchoring, and it's where you learn to anchor a specific resource, emotional state or resource you would find helpful in situations. So the most common ones I do with people are to learn to anchor the feelings of confidence or calmness. So what you do in that situation is you take them back to a time when they felt extremely calm or very relaxed or very confident. And you anchor those feelings so that at will then they can generate those feelings of feeling calm or confident.
Hypnotherapy gets to the root of what the fears are, because if you just work at a surface, it's the same as saying, okay, be calm, and the person goes, okay. They knew how to be calm, they'd be doing that anyway. So what we do is we find, okay, from an unconscious level, what's triggering these fears, because public speaking is up there with death in the UK, is one of the top fears.
It's like one of the top ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually above death, and
Really?
you think it doesn't make any sense because people know they'll still live, but it's very, very real. So it's getting to the root of it so the person can resolve the fears and build up of fears and anxiety so they can be comfortable. Also, what tends to happen is because the mind can't tell the difference between something that's real and vividly imagined, a person runs a scenario, the presentation going awfully, and even though it hasn't happened, it triggers the real responses.
That way.
So it's actually using that ability in a positive way so the person can mentally rehearse the presentations going in a positive way, which has them feel good, and then they're calm and relaxed. So that's a big part of what I do.
I think it seems like there's a lot of professional help that you can get out there if you can't overcome public speaking by yourself. Obviously, talking to people really helps. So obviously, like hypnotherapy and just going to a counsellor or a clinical psychologist seems really good. But obviously, keep doing the things for yourself, like take a lot of exercise, just take walks and things that can help you. Try and get some like breathing techniques, get some self-help books from the library, just to get a few tips on how to calm yourself down. Definitely try and prepare for your presentations, because that really helped me. And you can try and expose yourself to those situations that you find scary, like I did, because that really helped me just by doing it over and over again, helped me overcome my fears. Today I'm going to meet Daniel Tyler, who is a Cambridge University student. He has a real passion for public speaking. However, before he goes on stage, he has all the symptoms of glossophobia. So I'm really interested to hear his unique story. So Daniel, you've had to deal with feeling incredibly nervous before a performance or a public speaking event.
Yes, that's right. I started public speaking in year 9 with the school, and though we certainly had success in the first few years, I found it a very nerve-wracking experience, and I knew that in the long run that wouldn't be sustainable. I'd be terrified beforehand, and afterwards I'd be panicking about how I did.
Yeah.
And it culminated in, I suppose, what you might describe as a panic attack.
Daniel decided to show me around Cambridge. We talked about how much he liked public speaking and how he overcame his nerves.
And it's funny, it requires, I think, a mixture of spontaneity and preparation, two opposing things. You've got to be spontaneous enough to say, right, even though I'm nervous, I'm going to go for this, and to hell with the consequences. But once you've made that commitment, once you've made that leap in the dark, you've then got to prepare damn well.
Yeah, that's right.
You've got to do your research, you've got to rehearse, you've got to plan very well. So if you do those things, and in roughly that order,
it works.
It's doable.
Yeah. A few weeks later, and Danny was back in Liverpool, and he got in touch with me because he was just about to perform at a poetry evening. And I was really interested to see how he coped speaking in front of other people. So have you been preparing this for quite a few weeks now?
Yes, I've been practicing the delivery, I've been getting my mental preparation done. I think that's ever so important, to psych myself up for it. And I feel fairly prepared and ready for whatever they're going to throw.
Do you feel quite nervous before you go?
You always feel nervous. The question is it productive nervousness or is it destructive? And at the moment it's productive. So the techniques are working. I'm looking forward to it.
What sort of things are you doing to calm yourself down?
When I'm breathing deeply, you wouldn't know that. I'm also looking ahead to when I do it and visualising myself there. That can help as well. So yes, those are the sorts of things I'd be doing right now, 10 minutes or so before a speech.
And neither is he good to have a pint with, Marks and Spencer's linen suit or not. Anyway, I'd better stop complaining. I've a Mr. Kipling's apple slice to get. And I said I'd go before it started raining. And thankfully, it hasn't started yet.
I was really proud of how well Danny read his poem. I think all the techniques he uses really work for him. I think it's been really good to actually find out what actually causes a fear of public speaking and to learn about all the different therapies that are available, because that's what I wanted to do in the first place. That's what I set out to do for this documentary. It's also been really good to speak to Danny Tyler in Cambridge, because it was great to speak to someone who's quite like-minded. And his story was quite unique as well, because he loves public speaking. So you've got like two different stories there. Like you've got mine, and I didn't like public speaking, and I still get quite nervous. It's not really one of my favourite things to do, but he loves it, so that's why it's so unique and different. It was really interesting to get to know him and see him public speak at the poetry night. That was really good. You know, I think if you do have a fear of public speaking, get professional help if you can't get over it by yourself, but still try and do the things to help yourself, like, you know, get exercise, get the self-help books. I think you can get over it. I think you just need to persevere and just keep going. I think you'll get there eventually.